Our journey continues and we're in Mombasa, Kenya. Take a minute to subscribe and let's explore.
What are some of the secrets from the past that are influencing our current life? Because history repeats itself, and if we don't want history to have the same effect that it had on us centuries ago, then we have to learn our history. My name is Sandra and I live in this beautiful city called Mombasa. So I was not born here and neither did I grow up in the city, but I came to live here. And let me tell you, there is just something that makes this coastal area the place to be. I don't know what it is. In my previous video, I said Mombasa is the oldest city in Kenya and one of the most populous cities in Africa. And today with this episode, I'm going to show you evidence of all that.
Our journey starts in 1498 when Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama landed at the port of Mombasa, which was a thriving business point for the Indian Ocean Maritime Trade. Portuguese interest to gain power and control of the trade is evidenced with their decision to build Fort Jesus. The military base overlooks the entryway into the region, meaning the Portuguese could see any ships approaching, and by that, controlling the port meant they controlled the trade. The trade had existed since the medieval era and had been practiced freely. As human beings advanced, so did technology and thought processes. Today we take a walk down memory lane as we try to recollect pieces from the past present in Mombasa Old Town. This video specifically focuses on Old Town because it is on the southeastern side, closely bordering the old port where the Indian Ocean Maritime Trade and the cultural integration highly occurred. These buildings date back to centuries ago, like Ali Mandri Mosque, which was built in 1507, signifying the presence of the Arabs even before the Portuguese gained control of the maritime trade. Some of the houses are now restaurants, curio shops, and places of residence.
A very lovely place for those of you who love art, who love the Swahili dolls. We went to Fort Jesus and we were very much able to see the architecture of the Swahili decor. So right now I'm standing inside a souvenir shop. It's right opposite the old Mombasa port and located right adjacent to the old post office. So this souvenir shop goes way back. The owner used to come from, he was a businessman operating all the way up to Bagamoyo in Tanzania. And this souvenir shop, he will sell ivory, he will sell a lot of things way back in the 18th century around there. And I'll invite the owner here to come and tell us more about this beautiful place. Okay.
We have started to modify lamp doors to look like a dining table. So we changed it to look like a dining table and a coffee table.
Is this skill still being practiced or is it fading away?
Yeah, we are still doing it, and now it's coming out not very bad. You see, like this chair here, we call it Sultan's chair or King's chair. They use or bride's chair. When somebody gets married, they used to get to sit on this chair. How I studied it, I was from Lamu originally. I learned it from my uncle. This is where I got the skill from. And fortunately, there is no boundaries who is to be trained or who is not. Whoever wishes to have the skill can be trained and have the skill too, so that we promote our traditional arts and design.
Arts and culture is important because it represents who we are, our thoughts, our ideas, our innovation. It also represents our journey. Inside those prints of fabrics, the colors that we choose is our emotions, our scars, our stories. However much these walls may look old and ugly, they represent the journey of the African people, They represent the life that existed centuries ago. What I like about the coastal area is that the people here preserve their heritage.
How old are you? 17. And you learned this. At what age did you know how to stitch? 14. Keep up the good work. I think you're busy. It's holiday time. Instead of just playing outside, you're busy learning a skill. This is so good. I appreciate your teaching him.
Yeah.
Keep on also showing the good work. We need to preserve the art. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's continue exploring the culture. This is Diaku. This is Diaku.
Okay, this kind of doll, this type of doll, we call them Gujarati, which is Indian design. So this kind of art is original from India. We have different kind of culture, Indian culture, where the Indian, they brought a lot of spices from India, the architecture as well, and also the dressing code of Indian. We also have some Hindu temples, Asians also who came to East Africa. So you find that in the old town there's a lot of different culture. Yeah, you find Arabic architecture, African, British, Portuguese, all they are together here in old town.
This is the only place in Old Town where you're going to get legit Swahili coffee, like the real deal Swahili coffee. So you have to remove your shoes.
Swahili coffee is said to be made from a variety of spices, and the drink has a rejuvenating effect on the body. I decided to try it out and experience it for myself. After all, why not?
Very yummy. There's the reason why this part of Mombasa is called Old Town. The walls, they have a lot of history. It is said, if you listen closely, you might just hear the secrets of the past. This building that I'm standing right next to is the old post office. It's very important because it was used to communicate during the colonial period. It was used by the African leaders who are here to also talk to the other leaders, maybe from Zanzibar, because there was a lot of trade going on within this area, which was the CBD of that time, the Central Business District. So this building right here is the White House. It was used by the ancient traders back in the day when they needed their documents to be processed. This is where they would come. It is known as, it was the first American consulate in Kenya, and that was between 1915 to 1918. So this was the immigration, and at that time you need to note that Mombasa was like the capital city of Kenya. So a lot of business was being done here, a lot of decisions and responsibilities to the government were made. In 1895, the British had taken over control of Fort Jesus, and they had made it their prison. It was a prison basically. And across Fort Jesus is the Ali Curious Market. At that 2 years later, now in 1898, it became the police headquarters. Wow, there's the history. Now the police station is now a curio shop. It's even a restaurant. A lot has changed over the years. The year of 1741 to 1837, basically the 18th century, the Mazrui family, they were the governors of Mombasa, and they controlled the coastal strip. So with this Mazrui family, this is their graveyard. Most of their ancestors have been buried here. And to you, Mombasa might just seem like a normal place. This is the town. No, it has a lot of heritage, it has a lot of history, and this is ancestral land. One may think leadership came with the Portuguese, with the Arabs. No, Africans had their own systems of government, and the Masri family is one of the forms of leadership that Mombasa had and Kenya had during that time. Professor Ali Masri, he's a very famous writer who wrote about the heritage and history. He's been buried here. You might not see the graveyard itself, but just know that this area has the graves of so many legendary African leaders. Okay, and with that, it's a wrap. We've learned a lot today, and tuonane baadaye. Please remember to subscribe, remember to like, and share the video with a friend. Let's continue exploring about African culture and history. The Kenyan coastal communities are people who have seen different faces, different races, and they have still maintained their own identity infused with the identities of the other groups of people that have visited this area.